Yeah, you sound perfect. Matter of
Oh,
fact, I just started recording. So let me ask you that. I'm glad you said that.
hmm
What era did you get into like being in the studio? Like what kind of music was hitting? What were like the techniques and stuff, you know what I mean? Like what was that time that you like really broke into the scene?
facts. So when I first started interning, to be a nerd, my explanation, it was when the hybrid studios were coming about. As in, when I started at Plush, we were still kind of messing with the SSL board,
Okay.
and but we also had engineers that were transitioning to full using Pro Tools. But I was there during that weird little, we're going to use the SSL and Pro Tools. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I came in the studio during the hybrid era. I think the full analog era was when I was at Full Sail in like the 2004, 2005 and below. And after that, hybrid studios started coming about. They started getting cheaper to make, making more sense. And
Fact.
yeah, so it was dope. I got to learn both. I didn't get to do any type like tape machine type shit, which I wish I would have, but I mean it might have been just absolute. I mean it is obsolete at this point, and so I guess I didn't miss on too much, but I would have loved to learn that.
So basically, like in layman terms for people, you were coming in when like it was transitioning from the knobs being physical to them just being in the program. So
Exactly.
it was kind of
Yeah,
like you were there when it really changed. So
exactly. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, exactly. That's the exact time when people started trusting Pro Tools and what digital knobs were starting to sound like. Because for a couple years, people were so resistant because they didn't have the same transformers or capacitors inside them. But what I mean, we evolved.
hmm I seen like a lot of hip hop producers from like the '90s and stuff. Like they live and die by the machines that they were producing with at that time, and like a lot of them still produce with those same machines now because they're just convinced that there's no sound like it. You know what I mean?
True, and I mean, a musician is a musician. Like you give a strong musician, any instrument that they're good at, no matter how supposedly bad it sounds or good it sounds, they're still gonna make something fire if they're a real musician. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and music goes in cycles anyway. Like the whole early 2000s sound is coming back, so those machines might get brought back out and go up in value within the next couple of years. You never know.
Yeah. That's crazy. So did you go to like school for like engineering or like how did that
I,
go for you? How did you get here to this point?
um, so at first I didn't go to school for music at all. I was trying to be a doctor at the University of South Carolina, and
Wow.
immediately failed out. Um, I was reaching, bro, way too hard, and so I took a year off and I
What made you
Googled.
did you like know while you were doing it that this was not the right thing for you?
Hell no.
You
I
you
thought I
thought it
was
was
smart.
really
Yeah,
you thought it
I
was
thought
really
I
what
was
it was?
smart, bro. Yeah, I mean, I played football all in high school. Didn't really have anything to do with music except I rap. That was the only thing I had to do with music in high school. I did like to rap. It was mostly sports, though, being from South Carolina. So I didn't get to start as early as some of my peers have. But yeah, I don't know. Tried to be a doctor, failed out horribly. Was still rapping and having fun with it, but I was recording myself just like most people. But I didn't know I was engineering. I didn't know that's what it was called. But
Mm,
I guess that's maybe where I started falling in love with engineering because I didn't mind recording myself. It was fun.
that's funny, man, because like that's kind of how like the same thing I did because I used to rap too and I used to do the same thing, like record myself and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really enjoyed like recording people. You know what I mean? Like
True.
whenever I would be like, oh, okay, I'll record. Like I do it for myself, and they think it sounds all right. You know what I'm saying? Like in the
Right,
neighborhood,
right, right.
they think it sounds all right. I'll record them, but it was like I don't know. I was kind of like, I
Nah, I
don't.
feel you. It's
I
not
guess
for
just
everybody.
now facts exactly. So what like attracted you to that side of it and being involved in the music with that in that regard?
I love technology first and foremost. Um, so that really made me want to be in a career path that was technology driven. Second of all, I've always had a passion for music. Like I said, I rapped when I was younger, but I came up listening to all types of music. my parents grew up in the hippie era, and that was more of a free thinking, fuck the 9 to 5 type vibe. So I had that in my mind as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I just got lucky in life, bro. I think anybody that does music gets lucky.
Facts, man. We were even talking about it on the last podcast, me, Quincy, and Joe. Like, it's like we know people that like they don't even listen to music. You know what I mean? Like they're in the car, it's silent, or they're hearing like a radio talk show or something. And it's like, oh yeah, I don't really listen to music. It's like, damn, like you don't listen to music. It's like, man, a judging way is just like when it's such a big part of your life, it's like hard to understand like that
right,
people
100%.
don't even care about it at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's weird. It's just weird to me. Like, what you mean you don't listen to music? I don't know. You're right, but some people, I'm sure, like that, they listen to books or something. Oh, Jesus.
But I feel like it has to be tied to like happiness or something, because like there's no way, I don't know, man. There's no way you can like not listen to music at all or just have any kind of musical influence in your life and just be like 100% happy. Like I feel like it goes hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I share the same opinion, bro. Yeah, like you're right. You can't judge anybody, but it is thoroughly weird to me if that's the case.
Yeah, man. it is crazy. I mean, do you remember anything like specifically or just even like certain artists or sounds that really drew you to like, man, I want to make something sound like how this sounds, or something that just made you say, oh man, I can manipulate it and I can do something like that? Like, does anything come to mind when you think about that?
Yep, 2 people. I grew up listening to a lot of No Limit, and people like Mystical and Master P were like the coolest sounds, like when I was 13 and 14. And then when Lil Jon and the East Side Boys came out with some of their songs, and the low end on that was so crazy. And I always had like 12s or something in my trunk. But the low end on those records, especially on the album he dropped with them, was so crazy. That's what made me start thinking that there was magic in this shit. Like, how in the hell do you get this shit to rattle like that? How are they doing it? So that's when the questions started popping up, and I really wanted the answers, basically.
Did you grow up in Florida?
South Carolina.
Okay. So how's the vibe different in South Carolina than it is in Florida where we're at now?
I would compare where I came from, like a baby version of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
A lot of trap music. Basically anything that Atlanta did, we followed. In comparison, I don't know. I think Florida has always done its own thing. Where I come from, since it was a very small place, we were not trendsetters, we were followers. And so we were like a baby Atlanta.
Do you, as you know, if people haven't, if we haven't really specifically mentioned it, you're an engineer, you have a studio in Longwood, Florida, you know what I'm saying, in a radius of where there's a lot of great studios, you're one of them. And
thank you.
With all the artists that you see, and you have your hand in a lot of the music that's coming out from this area, do you see a specific style in a lot of the artists you see? Because like you said, we don't really have like a sound like that. We everybody's kind of like in different places. So could you like put your finger on like what's the sound like coming out of your area, or is it kind of all over the place?
To be honest with you, I could not put my finger on these certain sound that's winning in Orlando right now. And that's not saying that we aren't winning, because we definitely are. We have artists out there from Orlando right now, like John K and Mo, Tyler Yahweh, and you. And there's a bunch of them, but there's not, besides the Kodak Black sounds and maybe some of the Pain type, struggle type rapping, like the Rod Waves and stuff like that. I think Orlando, either we're searching for a sound still, or maybe we don't give a fuck about a sound, we're just trying to make good ass music. Either way is cool. But nah, there's not, I don't know of Orlando sound. Maybe they would call Hot Boy sound Orlando, but I still think that's like maybe like Pain, struggle type shit, still fire them.
Word. I mean, and just from being around you, I know that you love that rap vibe. You love that sound. But just as far as music goes, like what are some, different types of genres that maybe you take some influence from, maybe some specific artists or a certain era that you like the way that it sounds and feels, and it's maybe something that you keep in mind when you're doing your mixes.
True. So I do a lot of gospel music as well. And to me, gospel music and trap music can go hand in hand, which is kind of weird to say. But when you look at the biggest trap producers, especially coming out of Atlanta, people like Zaytoven, a lot of them are playing in church on Sunday. They're playing like the B3 or the piano or something like that, because of the huge epic sounding minor chords in gospel, and it translates very well to trap and stuff like that. So I would say gospel has a lot of influence on how I like to make things sound. I listen to a lot of country, and I feel like just that music like a lot of the songs drive, especially the bigger ones. So I don't know, maybe take a little, I don't know. Yeah, country, gospel, R&B. I bring it all to trap if I can.
And it's crazy because when you explain your influences and you would hear your mix is a very modern sounding mix, but the inspiration you're drawing from doesn't sound like it's necessarily like modern or something right now. So is it like, is it necessarily the sound or the vibe, or what do you think it is?
Maybe I'm going for a modern mix just to keep up with the Joneses, but I still want to give it the same feel that these gospel songs and these country songs and these whatever songs can make you feel. Because then at the end of the day, music is all about feeling, even though I'm mostly concerned with the sonic characteristics of a song, it still translates to feeling and how frequencies make you feel.
Yeah, and even like, not to get too technical or like music nerdy, it's like when you hear music, you can tell, like, even if it's a good record, if they were doing the mix of the time, and it kind of like sets the song back a little, if you get what I'm saying. Like it doesn't have that classic timeless type of mix. It kind of like puts the song in that time period. You know what I mean?
No, facts. Even one engineer that I look up to a little bit, Leslie Brathwaite, explained how Pharrell likes his music. And he was like, whenever I mix with or for Pharrell, he always likes his mixes to sound like the 70s, like the music from the 70s, but it can't technically sound like the 70s right now because it won't compete with other records if they go back to back in the club, but it can still sound like the 70s, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And even it's funny because me and my wife was in the car the other day listening to music, and then this one song came on that both of us like a lot, and I turn it up, but when I turn it up, the snare is like mad sharp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like every time it hits, like it hurts your ears. You know what I mean?
Right,
and it's just that song. You know what I mean? Because it's not like it's doing that when the other songs was playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it made her like not really want to hear it. And it's crazy because it was a super dope song.
Right.
And like the artists that are on it are major artists, but the main person's song that it was, he was the smallest artist on the song. You know what I mean? So it was probably something where like he was the one that got it mixed. You know what I mean? And then like I was saying, it was like, it kind of put that song in that time period when it really could have just been like a timeless record if it just had that kind of mix to it.
Yeah, just turn the fucking snare down.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like even like, that's why I like when they do the remasters too. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, like on Apple Music, they'll just like remaster an album and it'll just pop up in your thing. Like if you already have the album, you know what I mean?
True.
And you know what I mean? I like when they go back and touch up those records that kind of need it, you know what I mean? But they're still dope records, you know what I mean?
Right. 100%. And they don't fuck them up. That's the best thing.
Mm-hmm. That must be like a crazy task. Like somebody saying, hey, this is this classic record. We're going to give you the guts of it, the skeleton, so you can reimagine it to be more, you know, to keep up with the times and have a better sound to it.
I am curious about that process as well. I wonder how much work they do or don't do when they remaster it. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be something worth researching.
Yeah, because it's like, like it's got to be crazy. Somebody giving like they did it with the Michael Jackson records. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine being that engineer that they're like, hey, here's all these Michael Jackson takes, all these, this crazy music that just defines like music.
Right.
And you're gonna be the one that's gonna give your take on how we should take this from now on. You know what I mean?
Right. Make it sound better than Bruce.
Yeah, because you know as much as anybody that the whoever's mixing it, they have a huge hand in how the record sounds. You know what I mean? Like a lot more than people think.
Yeah, an engineer can definitely take a good song and make it a great song, or take a good song and make it something not worth listening to anymore. So yeah, we could. A lot of influence.
It's crazy because there's songs that I've been, man. For example, this is random, but perfect example. I was listening to the Thong song today. It came up in my mix. I was like, oh man, this one's a bang.
Yes.
There was a little breakdown that there was like a real like high pitched kind of beeping sound in it. And I swear I've never heard that sound before in that song.
Really?
Like this whole time I've been listening to this song, like 20 plus years, I never noticed in this particular part of the song, it was like a bridge towards the end. There's just a high pitch, like beeping sound just in that little bridge. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never heard this.
That's crazy.
Like, it's so crazy how like there's certain things in songs, like you can listen to them. You know, the lyrics might hit you later. You know, the vibe might hit you later. You might just hear, at the perfect time, at the perfect volume.
Exactly.
You're like, man, this is a jam.
Oh, exactly. Sometimes if you just hear it in the right point of your life, you just understand it more. Almost like a movie. Mm-hmm. Every time you watch them, if you watch a movie watch a movie from, let's say, back when you were 10 years old and watch it now, you're going to understand it on a whole different level.
Mm-hmm.
Same with music. It's just, same with art, period.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something like super dope about those like timeless artists that they make music where it's sonically hitting you the right way, but when you go back and listen to it, it's like, oh, as you get older, oh no, this is really a jam. You know what I mean?
True.
Like it's like I always equate it to my kids. Like I'll be playing songs from all different time periods, but they're just bangers. You know what I mean? So they rock with them no matter what. They don't, they don't have to ask none. They don't be like, turn it, whatever. Nah, like my son likes Phil Collins. My son like Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? My son likes some Devin the Dude stuff. Like he just likes whatever's dope.
Fire. I like that. Raising them right. So does my daughter. My daughter loves Michael Jackson and Bill Withers. I play Ain't No Sunshine, and she closes her eyes and goes out, bro.
What I love about those songs from those times is like they have them long versions, man. And sometimes I like those like 6 minute, 7 minute, 8 minute, 10-minute versions where it's just like a jam session and you just throw it on in the car or when you rolling up or something, and it's just like you hear it and like they was jamming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Bro, amazing times.
And it's dope too, because you also do like live sound and stuff like that, right? So like you have a lot of experience with actual like musicians and people that play instruments and live singers and stuff like that. So how's that?
That's amazing. So live sound, I'll take that back. It's not amazing. It's amazing that I get to know these people and I'm fortunate enough to meet these musicians. Live sound is not my favorite thing to do in the world. It's a very physical job, high stress. But like you said, the side benefit, the people I've gotten to meet, I've been able to kind of bring to the studio world, which I love. And that's been the biggest blessing.
Hey, man, matter of fact, you bringing that up, you were actually the one that brought Jared Armstrong, which is the sax player on It's Okay. And for people who don't know, you mix It's Okay. So, even that side of the live music, you was able to make that connection and bring it together, and it's super dope.
Well, that came out beautiful too. But yeah, just getting to know those people on the live, like I guess without the live, I wouldn't know them, but that shit is a lot of work, man. I admire the people that do that for a living. That is such a high stress job.
Yeah, it's like the people that do like live TV too.
Oh my God.
Like a weekly TV show or, every day, like a talk show or something. Like, man, that's that's a grind, yo. Like,
Right. Every day you could get cussed out for something, for some issue you did not know you were gonna have. You feel me? Like, fuck that.
Yeah, these and even like the late night guys, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a full-time gig. Like
that's a hustle, bro.
Yeah, that's not even a 9 to 5. That's a 9 to 9. You're there all day.
100%.
You giving your all when you're doing that.
Yeah, and you just pray and like nothing messes up, bro. Literally, I have so many stories on why I don't like it, but it's a great job. The highs are very high when you see like a whole crowd of thousands of people vibing to your mix. That's amazing. But when you get feedback and they all look at you, that's the worst feeling in the world. So I just cut my losses and come to the studio.
I feel that. But it's crazy, man, because like it's just it's always a different kind of vibe whenever you're making your living or you know, just involved in like the arts or things that are like, you know, media related, because it'd be so touch and go in so many different situations. And pretty much like, especially being in the position you're in, your work and your work ethic is always going to be what's going to speak for you and what's going to keep you, you know, constantly booked or people working with you. And I know that, you know, you are constantly booked, people always working with you. So how did you even get to this point? Like not as far as like, how did you realize that you needed to be responsible, but like, how did you kind of create this style where it's something that you've been able to make sustainable to the point where you've been able to open up your own studio?
So I treat it as a 9 to 5. I mean, you even know, because I mean, Lester, you own a business as well. We don't want a 9 to 5, but it's almost imperative that you treat your dream like a 9 to 5. I mean, you show up every day because you have to. There's no other choice, and that's the mindset you have to have, or you will slow down, you will falter. But if you treat it as something you just have to do, whether it's the burning desire to make music or it's just because you're responsible, if you treat your dream and your career path as a 9 to 5 mentality, and you show up every day and you're consistent, whether you're great, good, average, or just getting started, as long as you show up every day, consistency is the only thing that matters. Hustle trumps talent. I fully believe that. But yeah, I treat this like a 9 to 5. I show up to my studio 10 a.m. at the latest. I leave every day at 5 to pick up my daughter, and I'm usually back after I put her down to sleep 3 to 4 nights out of the week. So I'm definitely outpacing the people that work a 9 to 5. I'm working way harder than them. At least in my eyes. You know, I'm sure some people are out there busting their ass from 9 to 5 as well. But yeah, first of all, we're gonna work harder than the 9 to 5 people. So if you don't want a 9 to 5, you're gonna get a 9 to 9. Yeah, just that mentality of it's harder.
Facts. But it's just so rewarding to say, I make my living in music. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's nothing like it.
Anybody involved in music, that's their ultimate goal. You know what I mean? To be able to say, that's why like anybody that's in that position, however they attack it, I can't say anything, because until I can get to that point, I'm not even qualified to make an opinion on it. You know what I mean?
But you're trying though, and you're trying hard.
Facts.
So, and that's the only thing that matters, bro. Nothing else matters. If you're consistent, something has to happen. The universe will work with you. Somebody will just be impressed by the consistency and just give you a shot, whether you're ready or not.
Facts. And the shots come, man. People
they do.
People feel like they don't come, but sometimes the shot is an opportunity to work harder, and they don't take it. You know what I mean?
100%. I love that.
Because I've definitely noticed, like, as I've gotten older and just like in general, and it's just something that you kind of notice right away. Even some people don't, though. You know, it's like people are down to give you a chance or an opportunity or open a door for you if you're putting work in, or at least showing that you're willing to actually work as hard as they work to get to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's rare. When people see somebody hustling as hard as they hustled, if that is the case and they were really hustling like that, it's rare. So first of all, it might surprise them. And second of all, they're going to get a little thirsty. They're going to be like, damn, I finally found it. You know what I mean? Because that's what everyone's looking for, somebody to hustle as hard as them, to want it as bad as them. And yeah, man,
yeah, man. And it's dope because actually, even to bring up Unc, you guys work together, and that even ties into that because you're able to find somebody that was working as hard as you work. Y'all have the same vision. You know what I mean? You got a dope combination, like super dope combination. I think super underrated even. Feel like a lot of other people should tap into this combo of you as an engineer and him as a producer, and just what y'all both bringing it to the table individually and together. Like, take us to take us through how y'all have been able to kind of build that, and like how you guys attack a record when you guys are working on it together.
True. So I guess as far as building the partnership that we have, as far, I guess, knowing what we're good at, it was very easy, and I guess we're pretty lucky because we've never really had like a real argument between me and Unc. We've been together for like 10 or 11 years, bro. When I've talked some cash shit to him, he's done the same to me, but we've never had like a real argument. So it came organically, and it kind of stayed that way. He's always liked producing more than engineering. I've always liked engineering more than producing. He can kind of engineer. I can still kind of produce. So we complement each other in a great way. And I think a 10-year partnership could only happen if that was the case. Because we're still hungry. We're still looking for, our real sense of success, or our real moment that we can say, oh, we finally accomplished a dream. We're still working hard and waiting for that moment, but the journey has been amazing. Yeah, I think a lot of people may have parted ways in different scenarios, or if they had the same scenario, but we have a lot of fun making music together. We still have the same mindset, same goals. And that's how we kept the partnership, and that's how we built it. As far as attacking a record, we pretty much do it kind of how I explained. He attacks it production-wise, I give my all engineering-wise, and then I kind of give my little advice that's worth a damn production-wise. He does the same engineering, and yeah, that shit works.
That's dope, because I feel like that kind of reminds me of like how me and Quincy operate, because we have that like hand in glove vibe in the studio as well. And I feel like you and Unc have that, and that's such a like important piece of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like that has to be the number one thing. And it's like, you can kind of like figure everything else out, but that's like the one thing that if it doesn't work, it's like you're not going to be able to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And especially in music where rejection is going to come a lot, and it's going to be a little ugly. You got to have a brother and someone you can grow with. And if your business relationship is only as thick as a piece of paper that y'all sign saying you own 50% of this beat, that 1 second of turmoil comes, y'all just gonna break up. So the fact that, I guess we started off as interns at Plush together, so we were able to have that bond. We were kind of both in the trenches together, and so when you have that time together and you form the relationship of just, let's help each other out, get through this tough time, I guess maybe that's where we went right, because we just kept it moving from that point on. And I don't know. Yeah.
That's dope, man. And even like that's where I met y'all. Y'all was working at Plush. You were starting to build that buzz. It's like, oh man, when you go to Plush, check out Lou, check out Unc. Like, people were noticing what y'all was doing. And then y'all transitioned from just, working up straight up at Plush. Then you guys have your own studio, and just talk about how that's been like in the short time that you've had it. I mean, it's definitely growing, and it's going to be around for a long time. But just, you want to tap in on that real quick.
Absolutely. So it came about, or it was more of a need than something that we technically wanted to do, because having more overhead in any facet of life sucks. I mean, you know that, like having to pay rent to a new spot. But so we were at Plush for so long. And Plush started to get booked. Like it started to get busy after just all of a sudden, like people were renting out months at a time. And there were a couple other engineers there as well. And so when there's one client renting out months at a time, that kind of leaves other engineers ass out. And that's nothing wrong. You know, I mean, when somebody's paying you 20, 30 bands for the month, you're taking that. That's a no-brainer. So it was up to us to figure something else out. So we tried going to other studios and working out of other studios from like 1 month at a time or whatever. That got expensive, obviously. And then, bam, the pandemic hits. And when the pandemic hit, if you had your business right for the years prior, there were opportunities for you to get help in, you know, other ways, whether it be a PPP loan, because in my situation, BB King's was closed down completely when the pandemic hit. I was doing live sound 4 nights a week. So I legally applied for a PPP loan, got it, and did the right thing with that money, and was able to kind of flip it the legal way, and was like, yeah, this is time. I have the money to do this. I very much have a need for it because I'm having to go to a million different spots. And so the universe kind of brought everything together at once, and it kind of scared me because I was never that prepared for something. And we pulled the trigger.
But something that a lot of people discount is if you do things the right way, it'll work out. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So it's like, you know, something we've talked about on the podcast, something that I talk about in my daily life even, is like every big issue or like any kind of roadblock that you have, I feel like they always start from like a little thing that you let slide that you know you shouldn't have let slide.
Bro,
it just like always starts from that.
Just like a cancer, bro. Cancer always starts out small.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes through the rest of the body until it kills you.
Yep. And I feel like even like when you're approaching business, like I feel like that's like the number one thing. Like, you know, the things that are important to you in business, your principles, you know, the things that you don't want to deal with, because, you know, you're an engineer and there might be engineers that work a different way, and they might handle the money situation differently. They might handle the mixes differently, but hey, that's because that's what they're comfortable with. You know what I mean? That's how they operate to give their maximum output. That's not the same with everybody. You know what I mean? Even to touch on something that you texted me the other day, because you were mixing a song that we're getting ready to drop, and you were like, hey, I'm gonna take my time with it because you never rush me on these. So I'm just gonna, you know, see if we can give it a different sound, or, you know, just, you know, not give it the usual type of mix. And I feel like letting people operate in their optimal environment is the best way you can get the best sound. And that's kind of why I don't rush, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I make music, I know that I don't just sit down and just like a robot, okay, I'm gonna knock out this whole song in one take. It's gonna be a perfect take and that's it. Like, hey, mix it in 8 seconds. Like, I know music is the vibe, music is the sound. And it's like, if you're telling somebody, hey, I need you to do this right here, this time, this date, you're not going to get the best quality just because it's not something that they're doing. It's just because you're not giving them the time to be in that right mindset.
You're 100% right. Yeah, I mean, if you rush somebody, you're going to get rushed results. But yeah, no, you're right. With music, it's important to, you know, just let it be. But also, without deadlines, I don't think music would ever be released too.
Oh, no, facts. That's definitely...
We would just bullshit for months. Yeah.
And it's crazy because that's why, like, even when you're working with somebody, I feel like you always got to give them a little grace also, as far as like, you know, we all are trying to make like the dopest thing possible, right? But none of us are at that point where we've made that thing where it's like, it's everybody's heard it and it's like, okay, we got one that it's like one, you know what I mean? Like just an undeniable one. So it's like, until you get to that point, you know, none of us are right, none of us are wrong. But as long as we doing, like we said, doing the right thing and working hard and trying to get it in, you know, I feel like a lot of people, basically what I'm trying to say is I feel like a lot of people ask a lot of somebody as far as like, hey, I want you to invest X in me. And it don't got to be money. It's just time, energy, whatever. I want you to invest X in me, but I don't want to give you the grace of, hey, we're coming up together, but I want you to be already at the master level while you're coming up with me. You know what I mean?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. I mean, coming up together and doing this journey with somebody is awesome, especially if you have the patience and the wherewithal to give them that grace like you're talking about. We have this one artist Mike and I have been working with for 10 years, maybe 11 years. You got a record with him, dude named Click Clack. And shout out to the big homie. And when I first started working with him, I was trash. Hands down trash. He was not trash. Click has always been a dope rapper. He was definitely blessed to have the ability to just be able to rap his ass off.
The gift.
Me, I was trash. And he treated me like I was dope. And from that moment on, whenever I had that aha moment a long time ago, I knew that I was gonna be his engineer for his whole music career. Because I was gonna make that happen. And I was gonna give it 100%, whether he paid me or didn't pay me, and he's always paid me. But whether he did or didn't, that was gonna be that was my artist right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I felt that way because of that grace you were talking about. He gave me that room to grow. He gave me that room to fuck up and didn't make me feel any type of way about it. And I appreciate that. So you're right. Give whoever, whatever creative art that you're doing, give grace to your peers.
Yeah, man. And shout out to my boy Freddie, man, because like he told me something dope one time. Because like I used to do this thing like where like I would feel like certain songs that I did get like dated, and I would take them off like all platforms. And then somebody would ask me like, "Hey, what happened to this song?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I just took it down." And Freddie was like, "Yo, why you keep doing that?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's just like as time goes on, like, and I feel like my music gets better, I just hear the old stuff and it just like makes me cringe. You know what I mean? I don't even want it to be up. And he's like, yeah, man, but like some people like to see that progression. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
there's people that even still like some of them songs. You know what I mean? Like if people are asking you, it's because they're going to listen to them or looking for them or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like the same way, like I said, like you got to give that grace even to yourself sometimes. You know what I mean? Like everything. And that's like kind of like the crazy thing about music, because when you're doing it, a lot of the times you don't know if you're doing the right thing because it's so subjective. You know what I mean? Like you can guess like, oh man, I feel like this is dope, but you just really never know. And it's like every time we're doing it, we're putting that out there, like where it's like, okay, I'm just putting it all out there so you can hear it or check it out, and it might just be the wackest thing, but I'm gonna be back again, 2 weeks later, trying to hit you with something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just kind of crazy, like, the kind of dedication and like the passion you really got to have for the music. Cause like recently I even posted on IG, like the music thing at the beginning, like the forefront of it has to be the music. Cause if you don't love the music part of it, the whole industry will kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you don't love it, you're gonna get discouraged. There's people are lions out here, bro. Now, the music industry has to be the all-time craziest industry ever to work in. I mean, in what industry can you go into a studio session, a normal studio session, and you see, damn, it's like dry snitching, and you see a bunch of shit that you would not supposed to see out on the table, just hanging out, chilling, and everyone's having a good time. No one's nervous. It's just
it's like its own world. It's like its own world.
I love it.
And it's crazy too, because like if you casually mention some kind of like business dealing in music to somebody that doesn't do that kind of stuff, or doesn't even like, has, it's like it's just a straight 9-to-5 person that never really like spent money outside of that kind of realm, they just don't understand it because it's completely against any kind of business practice anybody has ever told you. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not logical at all.
It's not logical. It's not like the timing of it doesn't make sense. Some people get paid mad months later. Like, you're just doing a whole bunch of work to wait to get paid 6 months from now. Like, it's crazy. Like, and then people, it's kind of like, to a certain point, you just have to accept it if you want to get to a certain point or even just survive in the industry. So it's a lot of adapting, a lot of, it's a lot of getting used to, for sure.
Yeah, bro, you gotta have crocodile skin, because they gonna stab at you a lot. Just as long as that shit doesn't hurt, or at least it doesn't hurt too bad, and you keep on moving, you'll make it. Be consistent and you'll make it. But yeah, man, this shit's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I just always tell people, like, focus on you and you like, the best thing as an artist, the best thing I heard was just keep recording. You know what I mean? I didn't get it at first. I felt like it was like a stupid cop-out answer. Like, I'm like, okay, thanks, guy, keep recording. Yeah, but as I kept recording, I'm like, oh, keep recording, as in keep getting better, keep building your sound, keep being in the studio. Like, it starts to make sense. And it goes back to what we said. If you're ready to work and you're just ready to work the right way, it'll work out.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, I guess like me and you've been saying the whole time, if you just show up every day, you're gonna start building skills that you either didn't know you need or skills you knew you need. It's just the universe works with you, first of all, but you just have to get better. If you do something and repeat it every day or as much as you can, you have no choice but to get better at whatever you're doing. And that's all it takes. Like you said, just keep recording. Like, you never know, one experience in the studio, you may finally get over the fear of rapping in front of people. The next experience, you may, my lyrics just got better, or my melodies just got better. So every studio session, you never know what's gonna get better, but something is gonna get better, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, man, and it's super dope hearing that from you. Just knowing that you're in the studio, a lot of the time, you're living in these spaces, you're rubbing shoulders with some of the best music minds in the city, and you're one of them, in my opinion. And it's just dope to see the progression and how things have gone for you guys, and just how you've been able to build that name, build that brand. You know what I mean? I feel like, it's starting to get touched in like a lot of different circles. A lot of people are releasing stuff that has you guys' name on it, and that's super dope. Is there anything like in particular that you've been working on that you're excited about, or is there something that maybe you want to work on that you're excited about? Like, anything that you want to talk about in that regard as far as projects go?
I mean, first and foremost, the drop with you we got coming up. I'm sure it'll be coming out with an amazing video, so I'm really looking forward to that. Shout out to Cash Me Out, Unc. We're doing a dope project with Click Clack. We got some really cool producers in the city that are stepping up for us.
That's
been working. Yeah, I can't wait for the world to hear that shit. Doing a super dope project with an artist I work with named Airy Moon. She is amazing. She is a superstar. She used to be the lead singer at BB King's for 3 years. She is top to bottom just superstar. Can't wait for people to hear that music.
And one of the final contestants on The Voice.
Yeah. Yep. She killed it. Aside from that, I think every person I work with is dope in their own right, and that's why I work with them. Being at this little small ass private spot, it may be small, but it allows two things: to really come in and focus on work and not focus on hanging out when you're in the studio. 2, it allows Unc and I the freedom to work with whoever we want, whenever we want. No, I guess, schedule conflict with anybody. And yeah, I'm looking forward to who we're gonna work with the rest of the year. but I'm excited about the other projects and just want to make as much music as humanly possible.
Yeah, man. And as far as that goes, I even kind of want to wrap that up with this. Like, a dope thing about you as an engineer and just being in the studio with you is that you genuinely want the song to be better. So it's like, it doesn't matter, because I've been in the studio with you. I've been in the studio with you and another artist. I've been in the studio where I'm just chilling and you're recording another artist. And every time I see that you are for sure trying to make the record better. You are for sure listening to see, hey, is there anything we're missing that we can record here? Is there anything that we can add? Is there any, you're constantly on top of it. And, I've been to multiple studios. I'm happy to say, across the freaking United States. And you deal with a lot of different engineers, a lot of different producers, a lot of people in general. And not everybody's putting that same kind of attention and work and detail in what they're doing. And when you find somebody like that, if you're serious about your craft and you see that that person's serious about theirs, that's how you know you're going to be able to make that magic.
100%. Man, when that comes together, that's the blessing, bro. That's what we do. That's what we do this for and deal with all the bullshit for, is when those meetings of certain people come together.
Yeah, man, that's super dope. And is there anything you want to leave them with as far as like your social medias, anything you got going on? I know you guys had did a couple little dope contests, so people definitely got to tap in with y'all, because who knows if those are coming back. So definitely let them know what the IG is.
IG is at Cashier _Lew, CASHIER _LEW, or at Produced by the Cashiers at PRODBYTHE Cashiers. I definitely want to get these contests back, and that's where I can put you on the spot right now. I want to get the contest back going, and I want to do another mix contest, and I need a flyer.
Super dope, super dope. I got you. I got you with that one. Dang, I was gonna say something while you were saying that. Oh, I'm also gonna put the IG and everything in the show notes, and when we post it on the Instagram page and everything, so everybody can see. And definitely people tap in, because I know some music people listen to this. Last time Lou did a contest where he gave away a mix. People sent him some songs and he offered to mix the dopest one. He went on live, listened to all the songs, mixed the dopest one. Unk did the same thing with a pack of beats. So definitely y'all gotta follow Lou, follow Unk, and tap in, because like he said, the contests coming back and his work gonna keep coming. So make sure y'all follow them.
My brother, I appreciate you, man. You're killing it out here.
I appreciate you, man. Definitely been getting a lot of great feedback on the records and just the sound and everything. And like I said, I know how important it is to get that right sound and mix, and just how much attention you're giving to it. Because it's like, it's my baby, so I want somebody to give it that same kind of love. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man. Got you. It's like finding a dope nanny. You know what I mean? The nanny's got to love the baby. I'm like a glorified nanny.
The music nanny.